Hey YouTube. Well, PoopTube is definitely going to censor this video because it's PoopTube. So anything that says anything against Democrats, which they are they're not biased, they're just in their camp. There's no bias when their loyalty only belongs to that. They have no chill for right-wing thinking, and they if you want to call it that, I call it common sense, or laws or anything like that. Since Democrats don't really follow any laws at all and don't suffer any consequences for such. Hence the FBI director being a Democrat, probably in their party as well, probably one of their members. I don't know what his deal was. Obviously, he had connections with the top politicians. Very clearly. I mean, he didn't get that job because he earned it. But not want to talk about him. I want to raise the issue that a lot of these elderly Democrats have escaped punishment. I'm not going to say a list or a vacation island, because obviously PoopTube doesn't like me talking about that. So we can't say that. We can't actually say what we're all thinking and know. Like, we're not allowed to actually use our brain. That's not allowed, obviously. Like, why would that be allowed? Anyway, so these elderly politicians with connections to lists and vacation islands, and obviously, when their wages don't meet their financial situation, certain Pepsi woman, obviously, she obviously fits that bill. It's such a shame that the FBI always say, we can't prosecute a Biden or a Pepsi because they're too old. Really, is that true? Is it? Okay, let's run the data, shall we? Let's run some facts about age discrepancy and all of that when it comes to these things, because these people are in charge of the most powerful country in the world. So we have to assume that they are, that their mind is still there and they're still very capable of making decisions. We have to assume that, although I have my doubts. But regardless, anyway, so basically, when you can, charge Nixon and send him to jail, when you can charge Trump 3 or 4 times without evidence, or no evidence to support a criminal conviction, I guess you could say, I guess, his age doesn't matter. I guess Nixon's age didn't matter then. It's only because they were Republicans, so therefore they can only be criminal, right? So, it's not because the Democrats have owned the legal system for, the last 40 years. That really needs overhaul. If Musk's going to overhaul anything, please overhaul the justice system, Elon. Not just for America, but set the example for the rest of the world. Like, places like Australia and Britain really need a good kick up the rear end when it comes to justice as well. So if you say, this is really bad, and this is what people actually expect from the justice system. We should be meeting the community's expectations. That's kind of how it should work. We should be saying common sense dictates X. So therefore, the crime of, say, diddling is, punishable by way of electric chair. Something like that. And then that nonsense stops, okay? You understand? When we basically say we've had enough, we're sick and tired of, constantly finding more and more diddlers around the place and stuff, and we don't want this. So we're going to say that anyone more who does this is just getting, they're just getting sparkied. We're not playing games anymore. And anyone else caught is going to get the same punishment. So therefore, you watch all these diddlers start looking at people their own age and go, Maybe I should stop trying to pervert the innocent. Maybe I should stop trying to harm children. Maybe this is it worked for murderers, right? When people were out murdering each other, and basically the people stepped in and said, you know what, this is punishable by way of going to vacate Earth quickly and go straight from to divine judgment, and then straight to a spiritual jail in hell. When that happened, how many people murder anymore? Not that many. Not when you consider the entire population. Obviously, you hear about these things a lot, but that doesn't mean that it happens all that much. Anyway, back to the point. Right, so we've covered that a little bit. So why is it that we're always going to use age as an excuse for certain politicians? I'm talking to you, some of you Democrats, and like some of my family are very Democrat thing, and they get all their news from the brainwash media, and I call it the brainwash media because it's they don't hear any other opinion, they don't hear any other side. All they see and hear is the information given to them by the brainwash media, and unfortunately, a lot of the more elderly people in this world, that's all they get their information from. So that's all they know, and that's all they believe. So unfortunately, people like the poo, what's her name, Whoopee Cushion, with her, they believe that nonsense. They don't go, oh, what does the actual rest of the world have to say? Like, what does the average person think? Because I'm pretty sure the person on the ground who's more aware of the situation, or has, or I don't know, a more understanding other than Hollywood, bubble, and a rich mentality surrounding, like the only thing around us is only what other rich people think and know, and that they're safe and secure in that little bubble. So that's where they get their information from. So instead of listening to the people like you and me, and even then, they rather listen to the rich because reasons. I don't know. Anyway, I rambled there, and I've missed my point. Now let's get to that point. So we're going on about age and certain politicians. Right, so I want you to think about this. The Golden State Killer got caught. That's great news for all his victims, right? But he was like 78 years old and in a nursing home, right? So he's pretty demented in a nursing home, blah, 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 right? He went to jail. He might even get old Sparky. I'm not really sure. Probably not. I mean, they might just be like, well, just let age, let old-timey father do his business. I say give him a brutal end, because he didn't care about his victims, right? So I would say give him the same end he gave all his victims, and that's a forced pleasuring, and then I think he strangled them or stabbed them, or I don't know. One of that. That's how he should go, right? That's how he should go. Because that's fair. That's what he did to his victims. So that's justice. That's real justice there, right? He never cared about his victims' families, like what they would have to live with after he had done his deed or anything like that. Didn't care. So, all those psychopaths don't, right? They don't care about their actions. But anyway, getting to the point. So if he can go to jail, right, and if he can face mortal punishment, why can't these elderly politicians who have still got sound mind? Why not? What do you have to say about that, Poop Tube? I'm listening in the comments. Whatever you want to say. Like, Democrats and Republicans both, even Poop Tube can tell me that, right? They can tell me that you're more than welcome to tell me why certain people have, why there's a double standard to law, right? Even though there's supposed to be one encompassing law that affects everyone, and like I said, it should just be based on common sense, yet it really isn't, when basically victims are more victimised in the court system, making them think that it'd be better to just seek, unlawful justice than seeking lawful justice, because they're not going to get real justice from the law. They'd be better off going to see a motorcycle group or like a rich Italian family kind of thing. Like, they're probably going to get more justice from that, right? Even though they won't do that, and even though nobody's going to do that, but I mean, really, it's not that it wouldn't cross your mind. Like, you'd be sitting there like, I wonder if that would actually get me real justice. Like, when we just exclude all the rules and just go, you know what, this is what happened, can you guys help me out, what do you think? And then they sat there and said, well, what do you want us to do? And then you say, well, I just want justice. And they say, well, what kind of justice? And you say, well, I don't know. Like, obviously, I'll leave it up to you guys what you think is appropriate, kind of thing. That kind of deal. Like, I'm just saying, just spitballing the fact that we think about that. Humans think like that, right? It's not just me. I'm not alone on how I think like that. A lot of people do. Anyway, not to say that that's what really happens, because obviously that isn't what happens, but I'm just saying. Because justice is, if justice is equal, then it's fair to say that wouldn't be required. And, like when they talk about, using, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so some of, the crimes that the Democrats, and like a Pepsi woman, like in all her time in politics, her wages have never matched her net worth, right? So obviously insider trading right there. Now I've definitely banned this video, haven't I? How dare I? How dare I speak the truth? And obviously, the Jan 6 thing, like her banning extra police there and then putting FBI into the crowd so that they would encourage the crowd to invade the Capitol building instead of just protesting, and then, having an unarmed woman shot by an armed, supposedly finger quote, trained law enforcer, because going for the kill shot first is the obvious way to deter a crowd, instead of, shooting the roof or the floor near them, or even giving 3 verbal warnings or 2 verbal warnings and then a physical warning to say anything further there will be met with force, like potentially lethal force, like supposed to be, like the legal requirements of murdering an individual when you work for the police, right? The legal requirements. But obviously none of that was followed, and he got praised as a hero and blah, blah. Personally, I see him for what he is. He's a coward, and he drew a gun on an unarmed woman, and instead of using his training, he used his emotions and just blew her away. What a surprise. And I'm not going to call him a hero. People who murder unarmed people are not heroes to me. They're cowards. That's all they are. And that's all they'll ever be. Oh, and to top it off, he got a promotion for murdering. Did you know that if you work for the law and murder unarmed people, like the current politicians don't like, for whatever reason, then instead of going to jail or losing your job or whatever, no, you get promotion. Just like in a dictator country. Like, same deal. Pretty amazing stuff, right? You get away with murder and get a promotion. Very good. And if you're saying, you sound rather angry, well, listen, this is what people think like. And no, America is not my country, but seeing justice being perverted in such a way, and knowing that it happens here, but it's blatantly done over there. Like, it may as well be communist China. Like, that's how bad the blatant hypocrisy is. And instead of, and it's really frustrating to see the media always supporting the evil side. Like, why do you keep going to the evil side and going, oh, by the way, being evil is an excellent choice in life. We should all be praying to Baal or whatever it is. Like, obviously, like, you know, there's an owl statue up in that forest. Maybe we should be throwing burnt babies in there or something. Will that appease you Democrats? Like how far does evil have... You know what I'm saying? Like, I got carried away. My bad, guys. The point is, no one should be above the law, yet clearly they are. So when Trump talks about taking power and making them accountable, I really hope it's not like what happened last time when he said, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and it didn't happen. You better release the JFK files. You better release the alien files. And those damn I'm trying to swear but can't swear, those damn jerk faces in the opposite party, especially a certain Clinton family, need to face real justice. Justice that the community expects to be upheld. Not what looks good, not what feels good. What is actual justice? If it is blind, let it be blind. If it is just, let it be just. If it is fair, let it be fair. End of discussion. All right? You are innocent until proven guilty, but there's been so much bad from that one party, they need to be held accountable. They absolutely do. I mean, the Clintons themselves, how many people got murdered from speaking out from them? Like, that in itself should raise red flags. That in itself should be like, no, unacceptable. No, the first time someone got murdered, they should have been like, we are following up. And missing for so many years is murdered. All right? So the fact that they were missing for like months and months and no one had reported it, or, we lost their whereabouts. Murdered. End of story. Let's just call a spade a spade. And they should have dragged in the Clintons and whoever else was in charge and be like, okay, Clinton Foundation, where's such and such? What's going on? They better turn up in the next 24 hours or you guys are facing murder charges right now. So get your lawyers or whatever. I don't care. You can talk or not talk. I don't care. These are the facts. These are the charges. You're going to answer these questions or you're going to jail tonight. So make up your mind. What is it going to be? Is it going to be Big Bubba? Is it going to be that, I suppose girls don't really get bothered by lesbo stuff, but, yeah, but no freedom, that's for sure. And they often say freedom isn't free. Well, we shouldn't all have to fight so hard for what we all know is right. I mean, in the end of the day, why should we be fighting anyone, especially ourselves? It's the dumbest thing ever. We should all be on the same side. Why is this even a thing? Just saying. We're all good people, right? In our own way. Just saying. All right. I got really carried away in this video. Peace.